So, okay, I will introduce you in German and then we can switch over to English.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay. Ja, einen wunderschönen guten Abend, liebe Coaches. Wir starten heute mit Coach Jimmy Robertson von der Farley Dickinson University. Und Coach Robertson wird uns heute etwas präsentieren zum Offenses, zur grundsätzlichen Überlegung, wie man ein Offense-System aufbaut und insbesondere über das Air Raid Passing Game. Ich glaube, das ist etwas, was einige von uns in Grundzügen schon implementiert haben. Deswegen glaube ich, ist es ein wirklich interessanter Vortrag. Außerdem haben wir mit Jimmy Robertson einen Redner, der 2009 und 2010 in der GFL bei den Plattling Blackhawks gespielt hat, also auch den deutschen Football so ein bisschen kennt und dementsprechend da einiges auch auf unsere Verhältnisse anpassen kann. So, Coach Robertson, it's up to you. I'm excited to listen to your talk.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you again. Really appreciate you having me join you guys today. Excited to talk about our FDU offense and our system and air raid pass game. And like Coach just mentioned, I have a lot of familiarity with the GFL and football over in Europe and Germany, having spent the 2 years playing over there for the Plattling Blackhawks in the GFL in 2009 and 2010. So super appreciative of you having me, super appreciative of everything that Germany has done for me in my career, getting to come over there for those 2 years and, got to play a ton of great organizations, New Yorker Lions. We lost to the Berlin Adler my second year in the quarterfinals of the playoffs, Schwäbisch Hall, Marburg, Munich, Stuttgart, all those teams. So got to travel all around Germany, all around Europe. So it was a great experience and really helped shape who I am, not only as a coach, but as a person. So again, Coach, thanks for having me, and hopefully can share some stuff that we do at FDU that you guys will be able to use with your programs and organizations. So just a little bit about where I'm from here. I'm from Fairleigh Dickinson University, like Coach said, located in New Jersey. We're about 35 miles outside of New York City. So if any of you guys have ever been over to America and to New York City specifically, about 35 miles outside of the city. Today, going to be talking about our fast 5-star system of success, and then get into our offensive system, our on-field style and philosophy, and then really dive into our pass game, because that is what we're known for here at FDU as an offense, and kind of really break it down, how we implement it, how we teach it, because I think that's super important. And I think we do some things that make it really, really easy to teach and also easy to learn from a player perspective. So excited to share a bunch of that stuff with you guys today. Just want to start here with our fast 5-star system of success, and want to go over this because it ties directly into our offensive system and ties directly into everything we do. And what this system of success is, this is started as an FDU offense the last couple of years when I was offensive coordinator, but now it's our full team. I got promoted to head coach officially in February of this year. So now this system is something that we use to align our entire program, our entire organization in one direction. And you'll see how it ties directly into our offense, ties directly into everything we do. But the biggest thing is it ties us and aligns us in one direction. It starts at our foundation, which you can't really see there. It's kind of small, but a real family. And that's our core values of respect, energy, accountability, and love. And those 4 things allow us to be a family as a program, as an organization. And then once you go up the pyramid, it kind of builds on the previous levels with our culture, our standards, our style, our philosophy, and then ultimately our mission and our vision. But again, it all ties together and aligns us. And the biggest thing is it's something that we all can rally around. Our coaches rally around it, our players, and any other stakeholder within our program. That could be alumni, that could be people in the community, so it really doesn't matter. To me, this, not only for a football program, but this could be any business, any organization. It's just creating that excitement, creating that alignment. But for us, everything we do ties into it. On field, all 3 phases now are going to align into this fast 5-star system. And what fast 5-star means for us is the fast is doing it with great energy and passion. And then the 5-star is in relentless pursuit of being the best we can be. And then you tie it together, and then that's our system. And it's off the field, on the field. We're always evolving and learning, but we're going to stay true to who we are as a program, as long as all that stuff falls in line within our system. So I want to just talk a little bit about our on-field style and philosophy. because this is going to really now tie into the stuff we're going to talk about today. But I think it's important to note our style. And for us, what our style means is that's the manner of how we do things. And there's three things that in our style that we want to accomplish. We want to play instinctively, we want to play fast, and we want to play physical. And it's in that order. And first and foremost, the number one thing is the play instinctive part. Because to us, playing instinctively is no thinking. How can we get our players to just go out there and play without thinking about what they have to do? Because then for us, now once they play instinctively, now they can play fast. And once you play fast, you can play physical. So that's the progression for us. That's the order we want to accomplish those things because they all tie into one another. And then if you look there, you can see the 5-star thought process or the 5-star level within each level. You know, in the style level, it's first we have our culture in place. Once we have the culture in place, now we need the players. Once we have the players, now we have the plays. And then we have to have creative simplicity. And what I mean by that is it looks like a lot to a defense, but it's minimal stuff for us. We're smoke and mirroring what we're doing. So it's now that creative simplicity. Because when we have that, now our players can now play instinctively, play fast, and play physical. And this ties directly into our air raid style pass game. You know, because the air raid, there's kind of two things with the air raid. Yes, there are concepts that a lot of air raid teams run that are staples within that system, and we run most of those or a lot of those. But the air raid is really a mentality and a lifestyle. Everything we do, how we practice, how we work out, how we meet, how we run our walkthroughs, and then how we actually play in games. It all ties into this mentality. It all ties into this lifestyle for us. And the biggest thing is it all ties in together. And then we'll get into our philosophy once we get into the pass game stuff here. So why is this important for us? It's important for us because heading into this year, 2019 season, as an offense, we lost the school's all-time leading quarterback here at FDU. He was a 3-year starter. He broke every single school record in FDU's history. We also lost the school's all-time leading wide receiver. This was a guy that was an All-American for us in 2018, and at the NCAA Division III level, he led the nation with 102 receptions in 10 games. So heading into this year, we lost a lot of production as an offense. You know, the two guys that were the catalysts of our offense. However, because we have a system in place and it's not just a collection of plays, we were able to break a lot of school records with a first-year starting quarterback. He was a junior for us, but he was the first year in the system because he was a transfer. So to me, I look at that, you know, looking at it from my experiences in Germany and the GFL is, you know, that's similar to having an import quarterback who might get there a month or 2 months before the season and has to learn a brand new system. Or that's, you know, if you're on a U19 team, having maybe a player that's never played football before now joining your program, and how can you put a system in place that it's easy for them to learn, and more importantly, it's easy for us as coaches to teach to them. Okay, and you can see we were number 1 total offense in the MAC, number 1 pass offense in the MAC, which is our conference. You know, some national rankings, you know, scored 84 points in one game, 56 in another. But it was because of now 5 years of evolving this system and having that alignment in one direction. So our offensive system, the biggest thing is we send no mixed messages. All right. Our players know what our identity is. We're a no huddle, up tempo offense, RPOs in the run game, and an air raid style pass game. But they know this. And to me and to us as offensive coaching staff here at FDU, there's no right or wrong system or identity, but we feel that you have to have one as an offense and as a defense and as a program. You know, so it doesn't matter if you're an air raid style team like us, if you're an I formation team, if you're triple option, but you need to have a system, you need to have an identity so your players know it, and now they're able to execute it at a high level. Something within our system that is important for us is talking about what a balanced attack is. For us, a balanced attack is making the defense cover the entire field, pre and post snap. Okay, we're looking to attack space, we're looking to attack open grass, and I think that's important, and that's can be similar to really any system that you're in. Again, whether you're air raid or triple option, philosophically, you know, those are two things you can still attack. You know, we're going to make the defense cover every player, pre and post snap. We're looking for numbers, and we do put a lot on our quarterback's plate. Talking about playing instinctively, no thinking. The one player in our offense that has to really take command of the whole system is our quarterback, because we do put a lot on his plate from a pre and post snap perspective. You know, and if it's someone that we need to adjust it, we can adjust it based on his mental capacity and how quickly he's picking it up. We're also looking to get the playmakers the ball in that open and space and grass. and that could be run and pass game that's inside and outside. Again, that open space and open grass is not necessarily just on outside on the perimeter. That can be open space and grass on the inside if a defense spreads out, with your spread style formations. Something that's also important is knowing the number of opportunities and touches you want to get your playmakers. So we look at it, is our playmaker, all right? So 2 years ago in 2018, our All-American wide receiver who led the nation with 102 catches, we needed to know every play, all right? He's one of the best playmakers in the nation. Was he guaranteed to get the ball for us on certain plays? Was he the number one read in the progression for us? Or was he potentially the most explosive read of the progression in the pass game? Or was he a late read on certain progressions, and we wanted to make sure those were minimal? So again, I think that's important that you need to know your top playmakers. Where are they when you call plays, okay? And then track the opportunities and touches throughout the game. We track that. We have someone on the sideline do that. We just have a player that's, not in the too deep, track that stuff. So now we can take a look at it to make sure that our best guys are at least getting the opportunities. Maybe you don't have the completion, or maybe you just missed that explosive play, but they're at least getting the opportunities to get the ball in their hand. And then you have to be unpredictable and take calculated risks, make the defense play on their toes. And then that creates the fun environment, the fun atmosphere. So your players now are believing in it, they're rallying around it, and it's creating that excitement that we talked about earlier, once we're aligning the program in one direction. And please feel free, if anybody has any questions, please feel free, throw it in the chat. If there's something that we go over and you have any questions about any of this, want to give you guys as much detail and as much information as I can throughout. So please feel free at any point to type it in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask the question. So now getting into our pass game specifically, the three things that we want to accomplish philosophically are create conflict, manipulate the opposition, and take advantage of space and numbers. All right, how do we do this? Okay, we do this by trying to make it as easy to learn as possible and try to hit all different learning styles. And what I mean by that is I think there's a lot of players, and probably myself included back in the day when I was playing, that think they learn best one way when in actuality they learn best a different way. So we try to hit all those different learning styles by teaching it on film through huddle, by getting our players on the board, on the whiteboard, and they draw it themselves and teach it to their teammates, by us being on the board and teaching it to them, by doing walkthroughs, by doing then your indie and group periods, and then obviously your team periods, but do it multiple ways, give them the same information, but in different ways to make them learn best, because they might learn better one way than they actually think. We look at it. Is it sound? Can we teach it, and can they execute it? And I have can we teach it underlined and bolded there, because I think that's the most important one. All right. Can we as coaches teach it so easily and so well that it's very easy for our players to understand? And I think that's very, very important when you're looking to install plays or create your system, is how well you teach it. Other ways we do this are attacking the field. We want to attack all 53 1/3 yards horizontally and all 110 yards vertically. Even if we're backed up on the, right on the goal line, we have 110 yards vertically to attack. We also have gotten our running backs out in routes more. In 2019, we were a lot of 5-man protection, and then even in our 6-man protection, got our back out pretty quickly if his threat didn't blitz. And it was huge benefits for the entire production of our offense, getting our back out. We want to create 5 threats that the defense has to guard and defend on every play. And by getting the running back out in routes, really enabled us to do that. We already mentioned this, but attacking the grass and open space. We talk a lot with our receivers about if they're open, they stay open, and if they're not open, they need to get open. And you'll see in some of our concepts, we do give our wide receivers some freedom. Creating time and space. This is super critical for us. This is something our wide receiver coach, who would be with us, this will be his 4th year with us at FDU, he says all of football breaks down to these 2 things, and it's very, very important for our offense, but creating time and creating space. It doesn't matter what position you're at, whether you're a quarterback taking your drop, you're creating space from the offensive line, which is going to give you time to make your pass. If you're the offensive lineman and your pass pro, you're getting some depth. Again, you're now creating space from the defensive line, from their pass rush, giving your quarterback time, releases, route running. All of our offense breaks down to how can we create more time and how can we create more space away from the defense. Our system, it is a very simple system, a lot of consistency and carryover, which now allows our guys going back to that style and allows them to play instinctively. So whether it's in our pass game, or whether it's in our run game and then having our RPOs to it, it's a lot of the same as teaching because it's a lot of consistency and carryover of concepts. And then it fits into who we are, and it's how we practice. Our pat and go drills, our perfect drills, routes on air, skelly, one-on-ones, everything we do ties into this system. There's some things that we major in that are expensive to major in, but we spend the time to do it. But again, it goes back to having that program alignment, having that offensive system that all of our players know and understand, that they know that's how we're going to practice, and it's going to be up-tempo, high-energy practices along the way. So now how we break down our pass game, we break it down a couple ways. We break it down with our pass protection families. Then we have our pass concept families. Then we have tag concepts, and then some concepts are not tagged, and we'll get into what that means for us. And then we have our read progressions for the QB. And I think that's really where it makes it a simple system for our quarterbacks with our read progressions and how we teach it to them. And it's, again, it comes down to the easy install and easy teaching, hopefully easy learning for the players with a lot of that same as teaching. And I also think breaking it down into the families, now conceptually, the players can understand that it fits into a family. So again, they can conceptualize it, how they all tie together. So how we break down our pass game, you can see here, this is our full library of pass families. This is not something we'll go into every game with. There might even be seasons where we don't even bring some of these families into the season. But this is kind of our library and how we break it down. So we have our run game, and that is in our pass family breakdown because of all the pre and post snap throw opportunities we give our quarterback in our RPO system. Then we have our screens. That's kind of its own family. We have screens where we're reading somebody, and then we have just straight called screens. But then really the two that I want to look at here are the first one here, which drive, mesh, shallow, and then our C family, which is built on cross. Those are what we call tag concepts, and then those are area read progressions for us. And I'll get into exactly what I mean by all of those. And then we have curl slide, our S family, which is built upon stick, our four vert family, our smash family, and then our quicks family. Now those are not tag concepts, and those are primarily defender reads, with the curl slide being an area or defender based on the variation. So again, for us, this looks like a lot, but when we break it down into the families, it makes it very, very easy for our players, especially the quarterback, because he's the one that has to do the most thinking and has to learn the most from the start of it all. It makes it very easy for them now to understand that, okay, this variation of mesh is in the mesh family still. So his read is going to stay consistent. His footwork is consistent. The routes are going to be very consistent. So it's very easy for them to conceptualize it within the family. Now, from the quarterback perspective, we break down everything into essentially two reads. And every one of our pass families, all of them that were just listed in that chart within our offense, fit into one of these two read progressions for the quarterback: an area read progression or a defender read progression. The two questions that we need to ask ourselves, and the quarterback needs to ask himself, is what is the route progression order, and what is my thought process? What is the QB's thought process? This makes easy communication with your quarterback as a coach, and it also creates less thinking for your quarterback when he's out there on the field and he has 1, 2, 3 seconds to make a quick decision once the ball is snapped. So now breaking down the area and defender read progressions. Okay, the first one, area read progression. The route progression order never changes. So that's super important. The QB knows no matter what the defense does, the order is always going to stay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many routes you have in that progression. But again, the route progression order will never change. The QB's thought process is yes, no. So he's simply thinking as he's going through his progression, he's looking at option number 1. If he's open, yes, I throw it. If no, I go to number 2. If he's open, yes, I throw it. No, I go to number 3, and so on and so forth. But the biggest thing is the order never changes of the route progression. The second read progression for our quarterback is a defender read progression. Now the route progression order can change based on what the defense does. The QB's thought process for this one is if-then. If they do this, then I do that. And it's a combination of pre and post-snap reads for our quarterback. Some of our concepts pre-snap, he may have a numbers read to one side or the other. So his thought process is, if I have numbers pre-snap, I take it. If I don't have numbers pre-snap, then I go to my post-snap side. And now post-snap, we break it down into 2 reads for him. It's a divide or an expand. So a divide is a post-snap vertical high-low stretch of a defender. So it's still the if-then thought process on a divide. If the defender stays low, I throw high. If the defender goes high, I go low. And then with the expand, that's a post-snap horizontal in-out stretch of a defender. If the defender stays in, I go out. If the defender goes out, I go in. But the biggest thing now, the difference from the defender to the area read, is the defender read, the order can change. So based on what the defense does, the QB might go 1, and now he might go right to 3, or he might start at 1, and then he goes to 4. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4 like the area read progression. And I think this, breaking all of our families down into one of these 2 reads, has really made it very, very simple for our quarterbacks. Whenever we're watching film together, they should easily be able to say, whatever play we're going over, it's an area read. My thought process is yes, no, and my route order is 1, 2, 3, 4 based on whatever the play is. Or it's a defender read. He should be able to say my thought process is if then, the route progression order can change. Another big thing for us is if we're hitting our first read, it's going to be a rhythm throw for our quarterback. So what I mean by that is we're a shotgun team 100% of the time. We're going to take a quick 3 from the gun. So he's going to take big 1 and then 2, 3. He'll cross over. As that 3rd foot is planting in the ground, his plant foot, he should throw in rhythm to his first option if he's throwing it. So what about the coverage for us? For us, we think a trained quarterback in a system can beat any coverage. We have built-in answers to man or zone. Our system is really not dependent upon what coverage the defense is in. Yes, are some plays better versus some coverages than others? 100%. But if our quarterbacks just know it's an area or defender read and what their thought process is, they can have an answer versus any defense. Again, the pass families give us that creative simplicity, and having the 2 simple read progressions allows the quarterback to play instinctively. Again, it's conceptually, he's able to understand it all. Coverage now can accelerate a read for a quarterback. So we do talk about coverage with our quarterbacks, but when we're installing our pass game, we don't talk about coverage right away. We more talk about us. We more talk about the routes. We talk about, is it an area or a defender read? We talk about his thought process as a quarterback. Then once we understand what we're doing, now we can use coverage to accelerate a read. We can look at pre-snap alignments, post-snap movements of a defender, tendencies in film study that maybe how they align will give something away. And then the big thing that we look at is demeanor, eyes, and leverage of the defenders. That's something we look at from a quarterback perspective and from a skill position perspective as well, or really any position within our offense. And what I mean by that is, what is the defender's demeanor telling you? Is he giving you a blitz demeanor because his weight is forward? Or is it a demeanor that he's going to drop? Where are his eyes? Does he have man eyes? And what I mean by that is he's looking at a wide receiver or a skill player because he's in man-to-man, or does he have zone eyes? If a defender's in zone, he's probably now pre-snap going to be looking at the quarterback. So that's zone eyes for us. And then what's his leverage? Inside, outside, and how can we attack that leverage? So our quarterback's looking at those things more than what is the specific coverage, because defenses are so great nowadays at disguising that, for us to put all of that on our quarterback's plate, I think is very difficult. And there's plenty of times where as coaches, when we're breaking down a defense, we don't even know what the coverage is. And we're trying to call other coaches in or ask our defensive coaches to come into the office to see what they think about it. So how can we expect a quarterback with 2, 3, 4 seconds once the ball is snapped to decipher what that coverage is? So again, I think giving him the tools with the other things, the demeanor, eyes, leverage, with the area and defender reads, now our quarterback has the tools to go through his progressions and make an explosive play for us. So just a quick look here at how it ties in together. For us, this is who we are. So our drop back pass game was 36% of our offense this year. Then we run pretty much 2 run schemes in the run game, our inside zone and our counter schemes, all RPOs off of it, multiple variations of each of those. But we want our offensive line, again, to play instinctively, play fast, play physical. So we need to keep it simple for them. And then we have our other there, which is our screens. We have a couple other miscellaneous runs, move the pocket stuff. But as you see, about 70% of our offense is our drop back pass game, inside zone, and counter. And again, the biggest thing is let's have multiple variations of each, but it fits within the family. Okay, we can run it at a different personnel groupings and most of our formations. Looking at it from the QB perspective, what can your QB handle mentally and physically, because he runs the show? We look at a couple things from the quarterback perspective. Is we're going to look at the football IQ for the mental capacity he has, and then we're going to look at his arm talent for the physical strengths that he has, and that's his arm strength and his accuracy of his arm. And then for us, once you add those two together, now those are your pass game options. And I do think you have to tailor your concepts to what your quarterback can run physically and mentally. So for us, we have a lot of communication with our quarterback, daily throughout the entire year on what they're comfortable with. So you can see here, the two concepts I'm going to talk in detail about today are our C family, which is an area read, so yes, no thought process, and then our smash family, which is a defender read, so the if-then thought process. And you can see there, about 37% of that dropback game was those two concepts, whereas 2 years ago, it wasn't that way. But our quarterback was a different quarterback, so he had different strengths, different weaknesses of our previous quarterback. But it was that communication with him. It was ranking the pass families, which ones does he like. It was us as coaches evaluating the mental strengths and the physical strengths that he has. And then now we're going to drill and practice what we run in the game. Again, it's that physical muscle memory you're creating, but you're also creating that mental and brain memory for them as well. So having that daily communication with them, I think this is something that has really helped us the last couple of years as an offense, and it's our pregame thought sheet. This is something that we do with our quarterbacks as well as an offensive coaching staff. And now moving forward, taking over the program as head coach, we'll do something similar in all phases of the game. But this really aligns us in one direction. So how we would work it is I would give this sheet to the quarterbacks 2 nights before the game. So if we play on Saturday, I would give it to them Thursday. And then I would have them send it back to me that night. And then we would talk about it the day before the game. Okay. The biggest thing for us is you're really going to find out what your quarterback is comfortable with. And you're going to see what he really, really wants to run, because there's plenty of opportunities for him to put every play you could run on this. And he'll know throughout the week which stuff we like best, talking about our game plan and what we're drilling in practice and running in practice. But now you're really going to see if a quarterback doesn't put a play on here, and us as coaches, we think it's the best play in the world, but your QB doesn't put it on here anywhere, whether it's a top play, a series opener, third down, a red zone, whatever it might be. If he doesn't put it anywhere, then he's not comfortable running it. So you really can't run that in the game then. We also do this as coaches. We do it independently of one another, and then we meet the day before the game. 9.5 out of 10 times we're on 100% the same page, but it really creates that great dialogue and that great communication, not only as coaches, but coaches with our quarterbacks. And then all of this gets put on our game day call sheet as reminders for us. But it really comes back to it's that communication and dialogue with your quarterback. He's an extension of us on the field as coaches, so he needs to be, fully immersed in the game plan. And the game plan has to be what he's comfortable running. So now getting into some of our basic area read progressions. So these are our 4 main area read progressions. All of these diagrams are at a 2x2, just because that's how we'll install it with our players. But the best thing about all 4 of these pass families is they can be run out of 3x1, 2x2, 2x1, empty, 10 personnel, 11, 20 personnel. It really doesn't matter. It goes back to that creative simplicity. How can we make it look like different things to a defense? But for us, it's part of the same family: drive, mesh, shallow, or cross. The QB's thought process on all of these is yes, no, and his progression order is always going to stay the same. So just to go through each of them quickly here, we'll start at the top left there with drive. So the drive, you can see the progression is pre the free, and then it's drive, dig, check down. And for us, what traditional air raid coaches call shallow, we happen to call drive, but it's all the same stuff. But the QB should very easily, if I ask them any of these 4 families, he should easily, within 0.2 of a second, be able to rattle back to me the progression order for the play. So for drive, it's pre the free. And what I mean by that is that's free access. So that's something we do a lot in our offense, in the run and pass game, that if we like the one-man wrap there to our number 1 receiver backside, we'll take it. So it's pre the free, drive, dig, check down. Always the same order because it's an area read progression. You go to mesh down here. the order is always going to be option, back, mesh, backside. Option, back, mesh, backside. Again, that's because it's an area read, so the progression order will never change for the quarterback. You go up to shallow. The progression order is bench, shallow, dig, check down. Bench, shallow, dig, check down. And then you come down to cross, which is going to be one that we're going to look at in depth here tonight. And progression order is go, cross, flat, backside. Go, cross, flat, backside. But I wanted to put all four of these here together just to illustrate how simple the progressions can be for the quarterback. He should, again, in practice, he verbally calls out these progressions when we're doing most of our drill work. So it's second nature to him. It goes now into playing instinctively, playing fast. And playing fast for us is not just physically playing fast, but mentally we need to play fast. So we're creating that brain memory along with the muscle memory for our quarterback in everything that we do. So now we'll get into our C family, which is built on, let me just see here. It looks like we have a question. Do you run the plays both against 1 high and 2 high, or do you have a preference for them? So all of these ones, especially our area reads, it's irrelevant if a defense is in 1 or 2 high with our area read progressions. We like it versus both. We like it versus man. We like it versus zone. Our QB has built-in hot throws on all of these. So for us, that's really not something we look at for these plays. Are there some plays that we might like better versus 1 high or 2 high? There are. And when we get to our defender reads, I'm going to show you our smash family as well. That one we like maybe better versus one look or the other. But these 4 plays here, it really is really doesn't matter 1 high or 2 high for us. And the answer is because there's the built-in answers versus any coverage. And the QB's progression order in the area reads is always staying the same. So it's always 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. So it's really doesn't matter what coverage the defense is in. He'll know pre-snap based on the demeanor, eyes, and leverage that we might accelerate our read and go quicker through it because they might be in a certain coverage or not. So now let's get into our cross family. So again, it's the yes-no thought process. All right, so it's in the C family. This one is cross. It's a tag concept. So what I mean by tag concept is we'll tag one player and then everybody else's routes are built in off of it. That now gives us the flexibility to run it at a 2x2, 3x1, empty, 2x1, because once they know the rules are the rules. And it is the read progression is an area read. So cross here for us, we'll tag one guy. So in this look here, we're tagging the E. So we tag the E, he has the cross. So he has what we call the USOM route. All right, USOM, the under the Sam, over the Mike. So he'll work under this Sam here, this outside linebacker, and then he'll push vertical to get over the middle linebacker here, the Mike. We really want him to push vertical and not just go across the field because we want to manipulate both safeties with our cross route. And by pushing vertical, now we have a two-way go on those safeties. So he'll push vertical, try to get on his side safety's toes. So if we have a safety right here, a free, really try to get on his toes and then snap it across. And his aiming point is 15 to 20 yards on the opposite hash. The rules for everybody else are play side number 1. We count our receivers outside in, and then we use play side and backside. So the play side on this one would be to the right side, and that's based on our protection call. So the play side number 1 here, our Z, he has more go and MOR go, mandatory outside release. Backside number 1, our X here, has a post curl, push it vertical for 10, break it 4 steps to the post, and then curl up and find open grass on the backside there. Our leftover receiver, he has to get to the play side flat. So the R here in our diagram, he has to get to the play side flat. So our guys, we give them some freedom here. They can run a walk-off release out. They can run a whip. He just has to get to the play side flat. And that's what gives us the versatility within this family now is if we were in 3x1, he might be on the other side, and then he just runs a shallow route across the field. Our running back, if it's a 5-man protection, he has a flat to the backside. If it was 6-man protection, he would check release to the backside. Quarterback's progression on cross for us is go to cross to flat to backside. 1, 2, 3, 4 always stays the same in that order. So I'll show you some clips here of it now. And so right now we're running cross to the offensive left. So we tag this guy as our cross runner. Is the E running underneath the Sam so he doesn't get walled off? Yeah, so he does. Yep, he'll go underneath him. Yes, so he doesn't get walled off, because if he gets walled off outside, the timing of the play is completely ruined. Yep, so we want him to get underneath there, and if he has to, dip and rip through it. So we want him right here to get underneath this linebacker and then push it vertical. And again, we want to push it vertical to manipulate this safety to push vertically depth. And we also want to manipulate this safety to think that we're just going vertical. So in some of these clips, you'll see our cross runner gets under the Sam and then doesn't push vertical enough. And this clip is going to be an example of that. We get under the Sam and then we kind of just run right across. But by doing that, we allow the backside safety to drive on the route too quickly. So here, he has our cross route, play side number 1 has our more go. Backside number 1, post curl. Leftover guy has to get to the play side flat, and we're in our 6-man protection, so we will be a check release to the backside. QB here. Progression is go first. The go is open, so it's a rhythm throw as you see. 1, 2, 3, plant, throw it to the go. Pre-snap. Got a pre-snap indicator that this could be a cover 2 look. Again, it doesn't matter if post-snap, if they stay in cover 2, but that's the look he got and was able to rip that whole shot. Another thing that we really teach our quarterbacks on this play is if you're not going to throw this more go, really use your eyes to manipulate this play side safety. So if this safety worked hard off the hash, we tell our quarterbacks on this one to stare at him for that extra second, because we need our cross to develop a little bit. So don't just come right off of the go right to the cross too quickly, because now you can allow defenders to take advantage of that. So right here, we would really tell them to work that go, work it, and then come back to the cross if he didn't like it. If you look here on the cross route, good coaching point on this one is right here, we really want this guy to push it vertical, get on this safety's toes, because in doing so, you're going to push that safety more vertical out of there, and now you're going to create more space once you snap it across to your cross route. Here, now we're running cross to the offensive left, so we're running the cross with this runner here. You'll see the play side number 1. So this receiver here, he has the more go, mandatory outside release. He does a nice job of really trying to fight outside on this one. And you'll see he actually kind of throws the corner down a little bit. But again, we want him to get that mandatory outside release, because we want to manipulate this safety right here. Okay, that's who we want to manipulate by running the more go. Let's get that play side safety to work more off the hash. And now our cross runner can chase that open grass, chase that safety, and you're going to get more open. Another example here, we would like, again, good job getting under the Sam here. We would like him to push a little more vertically here, because in doing so, you're just creating more space for yourself. But a nice job by the quarterback getting to the second read of his progression. Doesn't like the go, gets to the cross. And you'll see, too, everything we do ties into it. We're 3-foot splits on the offensive line. All of our offensive linemen are in 2-point stance. You'll see our running back has wide alignment. He's stacked over the tackle in our offense. But it all ties into that's who we are. That's our identity. Our players know it. And it ties into the actual stuff that we run. So here, now we're running cross, tagging this receiver here. So he's got the cross. Go. Backside number 1, post curl, leftover guy to the flat, running back, backside check down. This is a great example of our cross runner really pushing vertical once he gets under the Sam. QB's progression, he's looking at the go first. You'll see our go here goes inside the corner. This is a big no-no for us. By doing so, we allow the corner to now see routes develop inside of him. We allow the safety to stay tighter and see routes develop inside of him. Whereas we need this guy to run his more to maybe get this corner to turn his back as he's getting hands on. And now in doing so, he can't see routes. and it will also make the safety work harder off the hash, hopefully. But a great job by the QB, looking off the go, doesn't like it, so gets to the second read in his progression, which is the cross. And as I mentioned, that cross route, this is a great cross route by that wide receiver. Would like our backside post curl to widen his alignment a little bit. Again, going back to, we need to create time and we need to create space within our offense. So let's widen out a little bit. You know, you're the last read of the progression. Really sell that post on the post curl, sell it, and then curl up to create more space for yourself. Do you always tag the slot, or will you tag the cross from the outside receiver as well? So you could tag the cross from the outside receiver as well. I don't have any clips of that, but can draw up how we would run it. And that's what I think gives us the flexibility within the system, and something that we'll do more of, because our QB, as you can see, really, really loves this concept. So for us, it would be the same stuff. If we wanted to tag this outside receiver on the cross, now he would have the cross route. Again, probably wouldn't get under the Sam now in this one, depending on where that Sam aligns. If he aligns apex or wider, we potentially still could. Play side number one would still have to go. Backside guy now, since he's not tagged, he now can either run a post curl with an outside release. You can dig him, or you can just go him on the backside. Leftover guy would still have the flat. Running back would still have the backside check down. So this is definitely something with tagging the one receiver gives you that flexibility to tag whoever you want. And when we do it on a 3-by-1, you can tag number 2 or number 3. And now the leftover guy has the shallow route. So a lot of flexibility with tagging receivers. The best thing, though, is it's all still the same exact read for the quarterback. Receivers are all still running the same exact routes, just who's running them. And it's very, very simple now, so they can play instinctively. So now this one here, this is now with a post tag. So now we went cross post. So here's our cross runner. Play side number 1 still has our go. Backside number 1 now, instead of running the post curl, he has the post. Leftover guy still has the play side flat. Running back still has the backside check down. For us, everything stayed the same for the quarterback. He was still looking go, cross, then he went post third to check down. Okay, our quarterback has a very strong arm, and you'll see in this throw, he was able to make that read with the post being the third read. The reason we have this adjustment is a lot of teams versus us, play side safety will take away the go. Backside safety will drive on the cross. In doing so, now we know we have this backside one-on-one. A one-on-one for us in our offense in a man-to-man situation, whether it's true man or, match coverage quarters, that's a win for us if we can get our backside number 1 man-to-man on a post versus this corner. So that's why we have this adjustment in. If your quarterback doesn't have a strong enough arm to make it the third read of the progression, you can very easily just go top down with it, and you can go 1, 2 to check down, and then potentially pre the go, that if they're in a blitz situation and they're press man cover 0, you can take that one-on-one fade if you would like pre-snap, if your quarterback, again, can't make it as the third read of the progression. But you'll see here, so our quarterback now is looking go. So we're looking here first. Safety worked off the hash. We don't like it. Second read is going to be the cross. This safety here ends up driving on it. So now we know we have that one-on-one with the post. And it's just a great throw and taking advantage of a one-on-one opportunity for an explosive play. Isn't the timing different if I run the cross by my wideout? Also, the rule under Sam over Mike is difficult, isn't it? Yes. So that's why I believe you're saying if you run it from the number 1 receiver, the outside receiver, that's why we wouldn't necessarily go under Sam over Mike now if we tag it from an outside receiver, because if that Sam is tucked too far in, now the timing of it would be off. We'll also adjust our splits a little bit too. We'll bump that wide receiver in a little bit, and we move our splits around enough within our offense, and we give our receivers freedom that we don't really have tendencies of when they tighten and widen that we're always doing one thing or the other. Because we'll have our number 1 receiver. So, if we were running, cross with this guy, he would tighten down a little bit, and now he might be our cross runner. But then 2 plays later, we'll tighten down with him because we want to run an out route. So for us, when we tighten, we're going to go in. When we tighten, we're going to go out. And I think as long as you do that, then you're not going to have those tendencies to a defense. But I do think you need to tighten it a little bit if you have him as the cross runner, because exactly like you said, that timing of it. And again, really the biggest thing I'll emphasize with that is just as long as you're doing both. When you tighten them, there's plenty of times where for us, we tighten our number one. They're running drive routes and shallow routes and crossing routes. There's plenty of times when we tighten our number one and he's running a bench route or he's running an out route or a fade, and we're just trying to create more room on the outside. So as long as you do both, there's no tendencies. The next play in our C family is choice. So you'll see here, looks exactly like cross. And that's why I think having the families is really beneficial for our players. So it's still in the C family, but now it's just choice. Still a tag concept, and it's an area read progression. The only thing now that changes for us is the guy we tag is going to have a choice. So here we tag our R. So now he has a choice. His route is going to be reading first defender, head up to inside of him. So as this R releases, he's going to read first defender, head up to inside. If that defender stays in.
Coach, can you please? I think he muted himself. Okay, thank you.
I think I might be able to mute all here, Coach. Let me see.
Yeah, because you're the host, I can't do this anymore.
Was? Was ist links? Der da drauf ist, da kann man noch Ach, was? Hey, Steffi, wir sind in einem Team.
All right. Yeah, I think we're good there. So now choice here. So now we'll again, it's in our C family. So conceptually for our players, still part of our C family. Now we'll tag one guy and he has the choice route. So in this look, we're tagging the R. He'll read first defender, head up to inside. That defender stays in, we break out. As we break out, we peek the next defender outside, which in this look would be the corner. If the corner sits, we sit down and run a little hitch there. If that corner goes, then we go and continue on the out route. For everybody else, it is cross, okay? And as our R goes off, that first defender head up to inside goes out. Now our R would break in. And then he has to settle up by the time he gets to the center, just because we don't want to get across the formation and create less space for all of our routes. Our quarterback's progression on this is now he's going to pre the go, all right? He's going to pre the go. So if we get cover 1 or cover 0 and we like that matchup, we can pre the go, we'll take it. Post snap, still an area read. So still a yes, no thought process. But now the progression order is now choice to cross to backside. So the routes are very similar to cross while it's in the C family. It is cross for everybody else except our choice runner who has the choice route. So it's that same as teaching, and conceptually for our quarterback, he just knows now it's pre the free, choice, cross, backside in his progression. So I could show you a couple of examples here. So in this look, we're tagging our slot to the offensive right as our choice runner. So he's reading first defender, head up to inside. So this linebacker here. If this linebacker that I have circled stays inside, we'll break out. So as we break out, now he needs to peek the corner. If the corner goes, we continue going and run an out route. If that corner sits, then we have to sit in that window between the corner and the linebacker. For everybody else, it is cross. So play side number 1 has the more go. Backside number 1 has the post curl. Now our leftover guy is just our cross runner. And now the progression is, again, pre the go. Post snap, it will be choice, cross, backside. Our running back still has a backside check down. So here, very easy read. This is one we like in third and medium situations. You can get some good matchups with your slot receiver on that linebacker. Nice rhythm throw by the quarterback. Again, all of our first reads of progressions are rhythm throws. So as that foot plants, we're throwing the out route. Here, now doing it at empty, so just showing that you can do that in multiple formations. So our choice runner is our slot here to the boundary. So he ends up running an out on this one because he's reading this defender. First defender head up to inside, stays inside, so go out. This is going to be a great job by our play side number 1 running the more, but you'll see once the clip gets going, he really works getting outside. In doing so, that corner turns his back for a split second to open up our choice runner. For everybody else, it's cross. So we got our post curl, we have our cross, and now instead of our running back, we just have our receiver running the backside flat route as a check down. But really want to point out here, great job by our play side number 1, really trying to get outside, opening up his receiver, his other receiver, his teammate. And you'll see, going back, we need to make the defense cover the entire field. So we need to get receivers everywhere on the field and make the defense cover everybody horizontally and everybody vertically. On every single play, we need to do that. So here's just another look, and I'll try to get through these ones so I can get to our other family that I want to show you guys. So again, we like this one to the boundary too, as you can see, just with that choice route. You can run it either way, but we just like it to the boundary because you can get a good matchup, and that linebacker is probably going to be tucked into the box a little bit more. So same thing. Here's our choice runner reading this defender. This defender stays just inside but flat-footed. It's a matchup we liked. Great job by our play side number 1 running the more to clear out the corner. And on the 3rd and 5 situation, we get 6.5 yards on the choice route. Again, for everybody else, it is cross. Good rhythm throw by the quarterback. So that's our C family. 2 of the variations we have within it, cross and choice. Is the choice route hard to teach because it seems that the QB and wide receiver have to be 100% always on the same page? Where does the QB look first? Linebacker. So yeah, is it hard to teach? I don't think it's hard to teach, but it is something you have to rep a lot. So we probably only have about 3, maybe 4 wide receivers that will run this route for us. And those are the ones that get the reps of it. We're not going to waste reps with our outside receivers, guys that don't come in the slot at all, running this route or practicing this route. So that goes back into having the system. We major in this stuff, whether it's choice, our mesh stuff, our RPO stuff, our air raid stuff. We major in this stuff. So we get a lot of reps at it. I think it's very tough to just dabble in running choice routes because you do have to get a lot of reps of it. But again, we major in it. You do have to be on the same page, like you said. And the QB, he'll see that linebacker in his peripheral vision, but this is just a progression read for us, an area progression. So it's just choice, cross, backside. So he'll be able to see that defender, but he's not necessarily reading that defender. He's just reading, is his choice runner open? If it's yes, throw it. If no, now get to the next read in your progression. So now the next family I want to show you guys, let me just see another question, right, is our smash family. And I want to show this one because the C family was an area read. So that's a yes, no thought process. And now this is a defender read. So the if then thought process, and kind of want to show you how the 2 thought processes change versus an area and a defender read. So the first variation I'm going to show you guys is lefty righty. We call it that because all the routes break to the right or all the routes break to the left. So this one drawn up here is righty. All the routes going to the right except the check down. So part of our smash family, it's not a tag concept. So by that means it's just memorized routes, okay? And then the read progression is a defender read. So now we're going to read specific defenders. What is the percentage of rhythm throws in your team? It's a pretty high percentage. Again, whenever we're throwing the first read of a progression, it's a rhythm throw. And the QB, again, he's going to read that stuff post-snap, but pre-snap, try to get some indicators to accelerate his read. But we throw the ball a lot. We throw the ball about 45 times a game, and our sack percentage within our conference is the best. And that's because of the rhythm throws of the quarterback, and we have built-in answers. So the last one we just saw, cross and choice, if we had blitzers that we couldn't account for, we can rhythm throw the go. We have the hot throw to the flat. We have multiple options that we can get the ball out quickly within the offense on every single play. I think the timing of it, though, that if you're throwing that first read of the progression, has to be a rhythm throw. So here, getting back to righty, our smash family, This is a defender read, so it's the if-then thought process. So in our smash family, these plays are part of the smash family because the front side of them has smash. So right here, the play side is to the right. So the thought process for the QB, it's going to be an if-then on the play side safety. So this safety I just drew up here. Pre-snap, he's going to check his leverage. So he's going to see, is he inside leverage of our guy running our corner route? Is he outside leverage? Head up. All right. And now post-snap, we're going to read that. It's, again, if-then on the play side safety. So post-snap, I'm going to read this defender. If he goes out, maybe it's cover 2, working over the top. Maybe it's a quarters, cover 4 look, but he wants to have outside leverage. If he goes out as a quarterback, I come in. Now my progression would go post to shallow to check down. Okay, so he goes out, I go in, which takes me backside. Okay, if this safety pre-snap is inside of our corner route, our smash side, if he stays in, or if he rolls opposite, so he stays in, now as a quarterback, I go out. As I go out, I now need to see the corner. It's going to be now an if-then on him. If he stays low on my hitch, I throw high to my corner. If he goes high to my corner, I throw low to my hitch. So it becomes a divide on that corner. Whereas post-snap, the if-then on the safety is what we call an expand. And that's a horizontal stretch. So it's an if-then on the play side safety. He goes in, I go out. He goes out, I go in. Again, it doesn't matter what coverage they're in. The QB is just if-thenning the play side safety, and then that will tell him where to go next in the progression. A defender read, so the order can change. The order could take him to the right first, or it could take him to the left first based on what that safety does. And you'll see some examples of that here. So right now we're going righty, and you can run this to the boundary or the field. You'll see here more of these clips are going to be to the boundary than the field just because it's a easier throw on the corner route to the boundary. So we'll be here. Just a couple other coaching points on this route. Our hitch, 6-yard hitches. If we're on the hash nearest to that receiver, he'll run what we call a wide hitch. So work to the sideline. If the ball's in the middle of the field, he'll run a wide hitch, again, to create more space with his hitch. If the ball here in this picture was on the left hash, so the far hash, we would run a normal hitch, just 6 yards vertical on the hitch. Number 2 has the corner route. We attack vertical for 10 yards and then break it to the corner. If we're on our corner routes, if we're inside the 25-yard line, aiming point is back pylon. Outside the 25-yard line, aiming point is front pylon, and the quarterback can always flatten you or bench you with the throw. Backside, number 2 has the post, and then backside number 1 here has our shallow route, and he can sit in that open grass as he comes across. He can sit into the open grass. So right here, if then, defender read on this play side safety. Pre-snap, we have leverage on him. So the QB now knows I have leverage pre-snap. If that safety stays in, then I'm going out. He stays in. QB knows he's going out. He has to peek the corner. Corner stays low. I throw high. So a very simple read for the quarterback. Here's another one, running it to the offensive right. So an if-then on the play side safety. That safety is inside leverage of our receiver pre-snap. On the snap, he works straight back. So we kept leverage. So the QB knows now I'm staying front side. If safety stays in, I go out. So it keeps me front side. Have to peek the corner because we need that high-low divide on him. That corner stays low. I know I'm throwing high to my corner route. And you can bench him with the throw as you see here if you see fit as a quarterback. All of these clips are also from this year as well, and we hit every option on this play this year, and I'll show you them all here. So now going to the offensive right again. So if then, defender read on this play side safety. Pre-snap, he is inside leverage of our wide receiver running the corner out. He stays inside leverage, so QB knows he stayed in. I'm going out. As I come out, I now need to peek the corner. That corner bails, goes high. QB knows he needs to throw low to the hitch. And as you can see, pretty quick timing of it. It's a quick read. boom, play side safety, defender read, get right to my corner. And you can see this is almost a rhythm throw. That's the difference with some of these reads is once the QB gets his defender read on the play side safety, he's quickly to the next read. Whereas when we're running cross, if we're not going to throw the go, as I mentioned earlier, we want the quarterback to work the safety to allow the cross to open up. This one is boom, boom, boom. Read the defender, get to the next part of your progression so we can get the ball out quickly. And that was a 3rd and 6 play, and we got about 7 yards on it. So now this one going to the offensive right again. So as part of your defender read stuff too, again, if you think a team is going to stay too high, so we like this play versus a too high team because it can create those explosive play opportunities, whether it's an explosive play on the corner route or an explosive play on our backside post. So here in this look, that play side safety, pre-snap was a little bit wider, about 4 or 5 yards wide. We still have leverage on him. So could we come to this corner route? We could, because we have leverage on this safety. However, going into this game, we said, okay, defender read on that play side safety, he stays wide. You know you're confirming it's going to be a middle field open, too high look. So we want you to go backside. And this could be because maybe you have a matchup here on your post, and that's an explosive play opportunity. So here, confirm that safety stays wide, come backside to our post for an explosive play opportunity. Got a question here. Do you teach your receivers to work back to the QB on hitches? We do. Yeah, once they run the hitch and then the ball's thrown, we want them to come back to it. And that's for a post curl. That's for a lot of our routes. Even if it's a deeper route, a post curl, things like that, we tell them to come back, chase the ball, and really go back and get it because you don't want the defender to drive through you on it. We also teach them to make sure they get their eyes behind it, freeze it, and then tuck it because we'd rather secure that catch for 5 or 6 yards than try to get upfield too quickly, and now it's an incompletion because we take our eyes off of the ball. So here's another look at it. So it's to the offensive right again. So defender read, if then on this play side safety, he's super wide off the hash here pre-snap. He's about 5 yards off the hash. So the QB, if he confirms that he's staying that wide, we're going to go backside because he's so far off this hash pre-snap. So QB looks, confirms that defender stays wide, stays out. So once he stays out, I come back in. Again, we can't even see him on this screen here. That's how wide he is. So he knows he's coming to his backside post for an explosive play opportunity. If we didn't like the post, then you could see we have our shallow route coming to replace and then our running back check down. You could see we still have receivers, and then we can't see in the top right here, but we're making them still cover the entire field with this play, just like we were on choice, just like we were on cross. So here's a look now, again, running it we're going to run this to the offensive left here. So smash to the offensive left. Play side safety, we can't even see him. He's on the screen. He's deep and wide here. QB's going to get his pre-snap read, but we never predetermine. You always have to confirm post-snap. That's why we talk about alignment keys pre-snap, but then we have our movement keys post-snap where the defenders move to. So QB's going to read this safety that we can't even see on the screen here. He stays wide and deep, so he knows he's going backside. You'll see here, this team was running Tampa 2 versus us, so this linebacker was sprinting underneath any deep hole ball, so our post in this play. So once QB goes backside, sees that Tampa 2 middle linebacker going so deep, he knows now he has his shallow route replacing. So that's something we try to do in our system is if teams do certain things to us, what receiver do we have to replace, how they can take away certain things. So for this one, how do we take away a Tampa 2 team? Well, we have this shallow route now replacing exactly where that linebacker should be. And as you see, the quarterback gets it to him. And then this is now just to the offensive left here. We tell our quarterbacks, when in doubt, find your back. That's why we try to get our back out as much as we can in our routes, make a defense cover 5 threats, 5 weapons. A lot of times defenses don't cover running backs in the pass game. So you'll see here our running back does a good job of checking down. Our QB has some pressure. A 3rd and 13. When in doubt, find your back, and it's a first down opportunity. But going back to making them cover the entire field, we have guys on the entire field. Make a defense cover the entire field, pre and post snap. And then the other variation of the smash family play we have is false and true. So most of the routes on false are breaking to the left. On true, most of the routes are breaking to the right. As you can see, it looks very, very similar to righty. This is true here. So still part of our smash family. So the front side, the right in this diagram is going to have smash. It's still a defender read on the play side safety for the quarterback. So he's making his same exact read. But now backside, number 2 is going to run a 12-yard corner. The biggest coaching point with the corner route is it needs to be vertical with full speed for 12 yards because we want you to pull out that safety to your side. And then number 1 is going to inside release, get in his drift, and then break the post at 10 underneath him. Same exact read for the quarterback as the previous smash family play. Now we're just getting different wide receivers there, giving the defense a different look with the scissors concept backside. Running back still has the backside check down. So it's still an if-then on the play side safety. He stays in, I go out. If he goes out, now I go in backside, post to corner to check down. Now I'll be able to show you some clips here. This one we're running to the offensive left. So we got smash front side, defender read, if-then on the play side safety. Backside, we have our scissors. Play side safety is almost on the numbers to the play side pre-snap here. So the QB knows I'm going to still look at him post-snap to confirm what he's doing. But I have a good idea based on some accelerators that I'm probably coming backside on this one. So you'll see here, confirms, he stays out. QB knows he's coming in to the backside. And you can create some confusion with that scissors concept, especially versus some quarters teams. That's why we like it for some explosive opportunities. Here's another one, running it to the left. So smash this side. And then on our right, we have our scissors. Play side safety is wide pre-snap. So once the QB confirms that he stays wide, now I'm going to come backside for an explosive opportunity for the post. This is also a great example of why we need to get our running back out on routes. This is a 6-man protection for us, but you'll see once he looks at his linebackers that he's responsible for and they don't blitz, he'll get out pretty quickly. And in doing so, he manipulates both of these middle linebackers because we do throw the ball to our running backs quite a bit. You just see here, I see we had a question here. Your running backs always run the check down to backside, or do they stay inside on different plays? They're usually to the backside on most of our checkdowns. There's a couple concepts we'll run what we call an OTB checkdown and over the ball, such as 4 verts. If we run 4 verts, they would check down right over the ball. But most of our other concepts, they are a backside check down. So for the quarterback, he always knows where they'll be. So backside, potentially OTB over the ball. Another question here. Another question about running backs. You don't use play actions, do you? I suppose the alignment of the running backs makes this difficult. We don't run much play action, just philosophically in our offense. I don't know if the alignment really makes that a difference because I think we can. But we just more so we'll run our RPO stuff. We run our drop back game, our screen game, and then some of our move the pocket stuff that I just don't think there's enough time for us to practice all of those things, to be honest. We do have it, but it's not something that we major in. We do get, I think you could still run it with our wide alignment because just because they're wide, I think with the quarterback, if he extends his arms in all of our run game stuff, now you can really manipulate second and third level defenders because there's more time that they might see the ball. We do run a little bit of pistol as well. Not that we're going to run play action out of it, but we run pistol so we don't have as much tendencies in the run game, with the running back being opposite or to the side. But you see on this look here, you'll see what getting the running back out. Again, don't waste a weapon in protection if you don't need to. It's a 3-man rush. That running back needs to get out. Both of these linebackers you see step up, opens up that post right behind them. Um, and then here, Coach, do I have a couple minutes, or I was at a couple clips of mesh, but I know we're okay.
Yes.
All right. I appreciate you guys spending all this time with me. But again, we do run a lot of mesh, so I just want to throw a couple of clips of mesh on here as well. Again, the C family and the Smash family, wanted to show those two to differentiate an area read versus a defender read. But I do want to just show some mesh, because everybody needs a little mesh in their life. And we do major in mesh. I think how we run it, it is something that you need to rep a lot of. And kind of just to show how we run mesh. So we'll tag one guy as the mesh runner. So in this look here, we'll tag this receiver. So the guy we tag, he has the mesh, or what we call the mosh, the mesh over the top, MO. And he sets the mesh at 6 yards. He's reading man or zone for defender opposite. So he's going to read this linebacker. First receiver opposite runs what we call the mush, the MU for mesh underneath. So he's responsible for rubbing right underneath them, reading man or zone. If it's man, they stay on the move. If it's zone, they settle up. So this receiver is going to read this defender for man or zone. Our play side number 1 has our option route. So play side to the right here, our quarterback will give him a fade, a post, or a corner based on corner's leverage. And then our backside number 1 has a post curl. Our running back has a flat route. Quarterback's progression in mesh for us is option, back, mesh, backside. All of our running back flat routes, their aiming point is 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, and it's a straight arrow. We do that because we need to put defenders in conflict quicker. All right, that horizontal expansion, we need that to happen sooner. So we never in our offense run flat routes where the running back goes into the line and then kind of jays it, because in a concept like this, the quarterback's read is option to back, and you'll see some of these clips. We rhythm throw to the running back pretty quickly because the QB confirms that corner bails pretty hard. So that's why we run our flat routes like that. So here in this look, QB gave the option runner the fade, and we take it and go with it. If he didn't like it post-snap, if that corner bailed or if the safety got over the top hard, he would come down running back to mesh to backside. Here's just an example out of 3x1. If we run it out of 3x1, our leftover guy has a 10-yard OTB. So in this look here, he has our mosh, reading man or zone, mush, reading man or zone. Play side number 1 has the option route. The quarterback gave him the corner. You can bench him on the throw. Running back still has the flat. And then our leftover guy, so our slot here, he has the 10-yard OTB. Still option, back, mesh, has the OTB to backside. On this look here, our quarterback rhythm throws the option route to the play side number 1. And the question, do mush and mosh clap hands? Yes, they do. You'll see in a lot of these that they actually do clap hands. We teach them in practice to clap hands every time. And then a lot of times, yeah, you can see here, they number 80 there stuck his hand out. So we do teach that. They can have no room in between them, so we do teach them to clap. No defender should be able to get between them ever. Just another variation here. This variation, we have the running back on the wheel now, and in lieu of the option, our option runner runs the OTB at a 2x2. QB's progression is still now that option area, which is the running back wheel, to mesh, to OTB, to backside. In this look here, we like the wheel, so a nice rhythm throw by the quarterback, great catch by the running back here. Again, just trying to show some different variations of mesh here, but QB's progression stays the same. They're all area reads, all yes, no thought process. How can we run it out of different formations and do some different things with it to make it all look the same? Here's just one more out of 3x1, and now just want to show how quickly he gets it to the running back. So as he's planting, he's rhythm throwing the running back in the flat there pretty quickly. And that's why we have our running backs run the flat routes like they do. Here's another one with mesh to the right. Just want to show a clip of us throwing it to the actual mesh runners. So reading man or zone. So this receiver is reading this defender. Once he stays in zone, he settles up in the open area. QB will throw it to the shoulder that he wants him to turn to. This is something that we rep a lot of. Ball placement with our quarterbacks. Throw it to the shoulder that you want your receiver to turn to. Catch it, knife it, get vertical. Just another example of hitting the mesh runner. Going to the right here. Catch it, get vertical. And then just want to show us hitting the OTB here as well. You know, we'll do it at 3-by-1. We can quick motion the running back as well. He still has our option, so whatever the quarterback gives him with the option. He's one of our mesh runners. Mesh runner back now. We'll just run a swing and then chill at the line of scrimmage. Leftover guy on the OTB. Quarterback's read is still option, back, mesh, OTB to backside. And this is a look here where we hit the OTB. Again, still making the defense cover the entire field. How can we make them cover the entire field on these plays? Just had a question here. Is your mosh usually from right to left, or do you switch it up regularly? It switches up regularly. It's just whoever we tag. The guy we tag is what we call the mosh. He's setting it, and then the first receiver opposite is the mush. But it's left, right. It's just based on who we tag. But we'll go both ways, field, boundary. But it's in the mesh family, so all the same routes, same read for the quarterback. So conceptually, very, very easy that we can run multiple variations, make it look different to the defense. It's all the same for us. And then here's just one other look at it. This is now where he's setting it, reading man or zone, first opposite, reading man or zone. We send the running back on the wheel. Backside has the post curl. Leftover guy has the OTB. QB's looking wheel, mesh, OTB, backside. So once he doesn't like the wheel, come right down to his mesh runner. So again, 3-by-1, we go to the 3 receiver side. 3-by-1, we go to the 1 receiver side. 2-by-2 both ways. We can run it at an empty. You know, just multiple ways for us to run it. And we, again, if anyone has any questions on mesh, that's a whole different clinic there. But wanted to just show a couple clips of it just to, because it is something we run a lot of. But Coach, I really appreciate you having me here. My email's there. My Twitter is there. Jimmy_R@fdu.edu. At Jim Robertson QB on Twitter. If anybody has any questions, would love to connect some more. Or if anybody has any questions now.
Hi, Coach Jimmy. There's Hugo from Plattling.
Hugo, what's up, man? I saw your name on there. How you doing?
I'm fine. I really enjoyed your talk. Especially, I love the clear differentiation in your approach between area reads and defender reads. Now, just tell me, when you design a new play, when do you make it an area read and when do you make it a defender read?
When do we make it area defender is the question?
Yeah. When is it best to go for an area read concept or a defender read concept?
I think it really just depends on the play and the timing of it. So for us, like our drive, shallow, mesh, cross, all of those ones, the timing of it for the QB can very easily go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas like our smash family, you can't go from corner to hitch and then backside to the post because the timing of it, I think. So I really just think it depends on what you run and the timing of it for the quarterback. You know, and for us, we do it at all of our tag concepts. Where we tag one receiver. Those are all area reads for us. And then when we don't tag a receiver, it's defender read. So now the QB knows it's tagged, it's an area read. It's not tagged, it's a defender read.
Okay. Yeah, we really have to hire a coach like you, yeah. Next question. Do you ever go something outside of 10 personnel?
We run a little bit of 11 and with that H back, and then we'll do a little bit of 20 personnel, like split back, 2x1 split back. But we're a primary 10 personnel team just with who we have on our roster. But we run a little bit of 11, a little bit of 5 wide, a little bit of 20. And to me, the great thing about all of those concepts and families is you can run them out of all personnel groupings, all formations, and the teaching of it is still the same. It's just where are people aligned.
It's hard to get intuition if you have a tight end or a fullback who doesn't get a lot of reps.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, what was that?
It is hard for a tight end or a fullback to get enough reps to create the intuition that you mentioned in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't major in that stuff. And there's only certain things that they're going to do. So although you can run it all out of 11 or different personnels or formations, we don't. So they only rep what they're going to practice. Just like when we run our choice concept, we only have those 3 or 4 wide receivers that practice the choice route because we're not going to waste practice reps with guys that are not going to run that in the game.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach.
No problem. Great seeing you. And then I see another question here is, in an average practice during the season, how much time do you invest in run walkthroughs? Could you post your email address again? Yep, I can post the email address. And yeah, our practice, we do a good amount of walkthroughs because, again, I think at the beginning of practice, we usually spend about 10, 15 minutes on that prior to pre-practice, because going back to those learning styles, some guys are going to learn it better in walkthroughs, where some guys are going to learn it better in the classroom. Some guys are going to learn it better just doing team periods full speed. So we really try to give it to our guys as many different ways as we can. And then what do you think about wide receiver motions in your system? We run some motion stuff, not something we major in, but very easy to go 2x2, motion a guy across, and 3x1. And now they know where they are, and the play or the concept is still the concept. So we do a little bit of it. We motion our running back a little bit. We use tempo more than motions, but we do motion a little bit. I just didn't show any of those in the clips, but I think that's definitely beneficial to make a defense have to communicate. And then when coaches like to dig deeper into the air raid passing game, what books, resources would you suggest, and what coaches' team should they look all 22 film? I think Mike Leach is the best to look at. We study a lot of his stuff from Washington State. Now he's at Mississippi State for this coming year, but he's great. A great book to read is The Perfect Pass. That's kind of the history of the air raid with Mike Leach and Hal Mummy and a bunch of those guys. But those are definitely probably the top guys that we look at and study. But there's a ton of them now. You got Graham Harrell at USC is running this stuff. But definitely can send some more stuff if guys had some interest in it.
Great.
And then I can just show here's my email again, Jimmy_R@fdu.edu. And then my Twitter there @JimRobertsonQB. If anybody had any questions, want to follow up, please feel free. I would love to connect some more.
Yeah, Coach. If there are not any other questions, I really like to thank you for your time.
No, thank you. Thank you. You're making me reminisce, and got Coach Hugo on, really making me reminisce about 2009, 2010 when I was living over there.
Yeah, that's great. How all that time.
Yeah, there's the ball from when I was over there. So I still have some of the memorabilia here. Got the jersey.
Yeah,
the jersey here.
The good old Berlin playoff shirt.
So yeah, again, definitely helped shape me who I am, not only as a coach but as a person, and that's what football does for us. People from all across the world get to connect through a great game like this, and I was blessed to be able to play in the GFL and use a lot of the stuff I learned now in my coaching philosophies.
Yeah, that's great.
I invited Coach Rosenberg to this clinic, but he didn't answer. I think he got it too late.
I'll have to give him a shout.
Yeah, I think I will send him the YouTube video.
Awesome. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everyone joining us tonight. And please feel free to email, DM. Would love to connect some more. And Coach, thanks again for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. If you like to talk mesh another day, we will find a spot.
Yeah. Again, that could be a whole nother clinic. I tried to go through quickly, so it was, sure, a lot of questions on it, but would love to. We can have a whole clinic on mesh and all of our variations, how we teach the route specifically, QB stuff.
If you like to, it was a great talk by you. I think we all get some concepts, some reads, and some breakdowns. You present us what we can implement to our team, our practices, and so I really like to talk and say thank you to you.
No problem. Awesome. I really appreciate it. And everyone, enjoy your guys' evening. Thank you again. Good luck with your seasons as well.
Thank you, Coach. Goodbye. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hugo, great seeing you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks
Give me a shout if you have any questions on that stuff.
Yeah. See you.
Bye-bye.